Hello and welcome everyone. Happy New Year. And I'm really excited about this one. This one is with one of the true leaders of the power trading industry. Someone who's been in the market for 18, 20 years, working at the likes of Danske Commodities right from the start, key director there, and then was one of the now directors, founders, co-founders, partners of MFT Energy, one of the huge success stories in the last 6 years. So I'm really interested to speak to Cagdas today. So welcome, Cagdas.
Hello, Patrick. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Happy New Year as well.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the nice, kind words.
Yeah, no problem at all. Like I said, really excited about today's conversation. But what I'd like to start with is just an introduction or a bit more detail into you and your background and what you're responsible for now at MFT.
Yeah, my name is Cagdas. I'm VP in European and US power trading in MFT Energy. I'm 45 years old. I am originally from Turkey. I came to Denmark back in 2001 for education. I studied finance and international business in Aarhus School of Business. After finishing my school, I started in Danske Commodities as a trader trainee. Back then, it was a small startup. We were in a 20 square meter flat. Henrik Lind called me and said he had just started a new company and was trading electricity in a new liberalized market, and he could see some opportunities, and it sounded perfect for me. I just wanted to learn things and try things, and I joined the company as the third employee, basically.
Wow.
Quickly we could see that there were opportunities in these markets because there were giant monopolistic companies doing this, as you know, only a handful companies, especially on the German-Danish border. It basically started from there, and then we started asking questions like, okay, how can we scale this up? What else can we do? And that just added up, us being a very, very small actor focusing on very, very short term and learning, trying things and then see if it goes through, trying things and see if it actually creates any value. And basically that curiosity and that, what else way of thinking got us to create a company that evolved a lot and nowadays is mentioned to be one of the pioneers of the industry. I stayed there for 12 years.
Yeah.
I started 3 trading desks for Danske Commodities, all on power side. I'm only coming from the power side.
Yeah.
I started the intraday team, created the first 24/7 Danish intraday team.
Wow.
Our team made the first trades on intraday in many countries. We got many bottles of champagne coming from the exchanges back then.
Yeah.
And then after 3 years on intraday, I should mention that I had the chance of working with great traders. Many of that first team, many of those traders are nowadays legends in our industry with their own companies. And I think Danske is on that side a company who actually gives birth to many other companies because of that thinking of this entrepreneurial spirit that we had. After 3 years, I moved on to a new journey in Danske Commodities. We wanted to expand to East Europe. I started the emerging markets team. on the power side. It was a totally different way of doing things. Coming from intraday background, it was all on short term, and you just focus on data and fundamentals. Towards going to East Europe back in 2011, it was mostly like focusing on monthly contracts. It was a lot about who you know and shake hands for contracts in longer periods at a time. And I basically traveled a lot in 3 years and created many counterparties for Danske, and then I stayed in emerging markets for 3-4 years, and then I was the head of short-term trading desk on power side. And back in 2016, I basically could see that my time in Danske was due. I could see the company changed to something else than I started, and I resigned, like many others did actually back then. And after 1 year of garden leave, I started in MFT Energy. I should mention that I was a shareholder in Danske Commodities because it was a small company when I started. I had the chance of owning a piece of it, and then I had to sell my shares back in 2016, and that money I spent all on to buy myself into MFT. Together with me, some other great colleagues joined, and many of them were ex-colleagues from Danske. And then we had the vision of, okay, we want to create this one for traders. So people behind MFT are all traders, and we wanted to create a concept where everyone who actually contributes to the growth of the company could become a part of the company. They could become shareholders. And that way of starting a company was kind of unique in our industry. And that attracted a lot of talents, which otherwise wouldn't come our way. Many of my ex-colleagues, especially the ones in our network, quickly could see, okay, there is an upside for me. There is a market access. There is the banking relations, the capital backing from the company, and I just have to come here, plug my laptop on, and then have my screens, and then start trading. That's basically the ease of being an entrepreneur. You take off. It's not for everyone to become an entrepreneur and do everything yourself. So we take those harder parts away so that the talents can come in and start trading. That became a success. We have today 11 daughter companies which are owned together by our traders, and we are 160 people under MFT brand. 63 of them are shareholders within the company. It's not only the front desk, but also people from back office, from support teams that also owns a piece of our company. We are today a little bit older than 6 years old as a company, but the people behind are very experienced, and that helped us to reach the goals that we had for ourselves. And especially, it was good timing. It was the right time and also the right place to start from. And we could see, especially last year in 2022, the market conditions were really, really well, and that boosted our case. And on the other side of the 2022, we can see that we are a grown-up family company. The people are with us in a longer period now, and we don't see the turnover of people as in other companies, simply because people are invested in it, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was reading you talked about 2022 there. I was reading your annual report, and it blew my mind. So 5 years old. How many people did you have in 2022?
I would guess around 100, 110.
110 people.
Yeah.
Gross profit of 641 million euros.
Yeah.
5 years old, 110 people.
Yeah.
I know the conditions were great, but you must never have thought you could have achieved those kind of numbers in 5 years.
Yeah, that was beyond our imagination, definitely. That's, also even in Danske, when we were there, we never had such a great year. So starting something new, we were thinking like this can be something big. We can do just as good. We can do half as good. That would be great for us. But having these conditions, we totally expanded or passed through all our dreams. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's lots of people listening want to understand a little bit about how you make such successful teams and companies. But before I go into that, I just thought, like, when you got that call 18 years ago to go and join a young startup, be the third employee, did you ever imagine it would take you to where you've got today, into this, because the industry didn't really exist then, right? It wasn't really.
Exactly. No, I was ready to do any job, to be honest. Back then, I was just out of school. It was pure luck, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not just luck, but that goes into what my next question. Like, from your side, like, how do you build a high-performing trading environment, or how do you become a high-performing trader and build teams that are high-performing? Would be a really interesting thing to understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it starts with people, definitely. Trading is a people business, and you really need the right people for the right job. You need the people who, especially on trading business, you need analytical people with right values and with discipline and with self-awareness, and basically, depending on if it's a trading team which focuses on the physicality of things and has a shared book or some shared goals, then you really need team members. Otherwise, if it's a prop trader, then it's a little bit more individuals with analytical skills, and it's a little bit different personality. But it starts with people. And when I look around for a new trader, I typically firstly pay attention to the personality of the person. I ask myself, do I want to hang around with this person? Is this a person that we want to bring into our team? Would the others actually like him to be around? And that's one big part of the equation.
And what personality did you look for? Just on that.
Yeah, sure. Well, first
What
of all, it's competitive people. The traders are typically competitive people. They are. I look for a sign of like sports. Have they ever been a member of a sports team, or just an individual tennis player, but just likes competing? Or have they ever traded something else than that they are being asked to? It's important. And then obviously the social part is, as we talked about, can they actually be a pain in the neck for others, or are they useful for the rest of the team? Is that a good fit for the rest of the team? And we need people like to have each other's back, but also to hold accountable. Can you actually see this guy admitting his wrong decisions and actually taking the responsibility to say, I did wrong here. It's my mistake. That is important. I typically also ask analytical questions in the interview. I ask mathematical questions all of a sudden and see how the person reacts. I like people who actually can count things on his head without thinking too much or without being stressed. That's a sign of a trader actually for me.
Okay. So just to pick that apart, then we've got competitiveness or some example of achieving, whether that's sport or in trading, or I guess even like mathematically now with
Yes.
everything. High level of accountability, entrepreneurial flair, easy to work with analytical.
Yeah, definitely.
Those are the main things that you look for.
Yeah, exactly. And with the years passing, this finance educated trader type changed a little bit towards a computer geek type, where we're looking more and more data scientist or someone who can code. It's a big part of our job description now. So if you are looking for a trading job, you have to have computing skills in form of coding and at least be able to talk that language with the analysts as well.
Yeah, I want to get into that in a little bit more detail later, but that must have completely changed in the 18 years, 20 years you've been in the market. So it'd be great to go into that. But as someone who's, over your career, consistently opened new desks, built teams, got them to produce fantastic results year after year, got in, set up a new company, done exactly the same, beat all expectations there. So how do you do that? Like, finding people who have certain traits is one thing, but then getting them into a team that is high performing day after day, month after month, year after year. Like, how have you done that? It's not easy. Not everyone's doing that.
Thanks for that. It takes time. It's about right people, finding the right people, and then finding great relationships within the team. When you have the right people on board, I treat them well. I treat them like fairly. I think that's very important as a boss for a trading team. I have their back, basically. They can count on me, but then I also want something in return, that I can count on them, right?
Yeah.
And it's also straight with each other, meaning my expectations are clear for them, and we set up goals together. So that togetherness is a key factor for us. That's also one of the values for our company, this unity. And then I look after this proactiveness. I want them to be responsible to actually go out there and dig in, be curious. I ask them some questions like, okay, what have we done correct? What have we done wrong today? Then try to reflect on, what are we doing on a day-to-day basis, but also on our long-term goals. And then once that is on their agenda, they start thinking for themselves, and they might even not need me. But I'm there for them, of course, if there is a need for sparring or discussions or whatever. But when that thinking of, okay, what else can we also do tomorrow? What else can we add to this business? Once that starts picking up, then they're already in their on their journey together. That's a great team. They swim in the same direction together. Then it becomes the recipe for success. So, and then it's obviously my responsibility to point out the direction, and then to also pick up the ones that are not swimming in the right direction. And that's a part of the business.
Yeah. High levels of clarity. Yeah. Everyone knows where they're going. Everyone knows what we're trying to achieve. Openness, transparency.
Yeah. Also, encouraging. I'm pretty encouraging to get them, to give them a sign of, okay, I have your back, and you go out there and try finding new products, new areas that we can do these things and create value for our team. So it's once it's there, then you actually create success, and then you have to celebrate. And it's fun for everyone to reach the goals, and we basically ring the bell and go out and celebrate together. That also collects the team together, and then once we do wrong, we reflect on what we've done wrong, and we try avoiding the same mistake, and that creates a development going forward, and it makes that we can actually run faster than the rest of the industry.
And for you, like that values you mentioned earlier, like what are the values of MFT?
Yeah.
Like what does everyone have?
Yeah, we have only three values. It's called grit, unity, and hunger. Grit, because we are ready to do whatever it takes to reach our goals, to go out there and basically have this persistent passion for what we do. That is a prerequisite. That's the DNA that we have. All our people have this proactivity, in the moment they come to work. That's our expectation from them, and that's their responsibility how to do things. Unity is being one team, as I mentioned, this togetherness and doing things actually as a team, and that is a key element in our company. And then hunger, thinking about, okay, what else is there? This curiosity. If we're doing this one really good in Europe, can we actually do the same way of thinking in US or in Japan? That mind is also very necessary in order to run faster than the competitors.
So grit, unity, and hunger.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. A question I'd have there, given how great 2022 was, and how your employees are so linked to that they're rewarded for their success.
Yeah.
So how did you keep everyone hungry? Everyone's just had the best year of the career going into 2023. How did you get everyone to get in first day of the year and work just as hard as they did the last 4 or 5 years? Because I guess for some people, it might have been hard to say, look, I've just made amazing success, but we need to go again, and we need to be hungry every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's a trader's dilemma, right? We are living in 1 year at a time. And that's a part of business, right? You want to be a part in this business, you have to, pull yourself out and, go out there and dig. Start digging. It's zero the day after. On the 1st of January, you're starting from zero every year, right? And whatever you did last year, that's in the past. You actually have to focus on what you can find out there, right? And that's pretty important. You emphasize that, and but also have understanding that after a year like that, it's okay that people might need, a bit of a breathtaking. That's okay. Obviously, it's just a breathtaking, and we're starting from zero again. I think it's pretty natural for a trader to say, okay, that was a great year, fantastic, and then go out there and celebrate, and then say, okay, wow, now we can do this again, or we should wait for it, and once it's there, we'll just smash it. What could we learn from that? What were the signs that actually were there before all started? Then I can write this down for the future, and then keep out if similar things happen, then I am ready to take my action.
I guess that's what separates good from great. People that can just forget about it, go again, and improve the next year after year.
Definitely, and it comes, the results are the best teachers, right? So in our case, our GP is visible to our traders all the time, so they can see actually, okay, last year was great, but in that monitor it says something else now. So I have to make it again, or I have to go at least as best as I can. That that this number gets positive and multiple digits, right? So
I guess if you get the culture right, though, people are not happy with just one good year. They want to the competitive, like you say, they want to beat them. They want to beat themselves. They want to beat the market. It never stops.
Yeah, it is. It's the nature of being a trader and being in the trading business. Yeah. And if there is actually a time to catch breath, then we actually typically encourage people to look at the business development side of the things. Okay, today the markets are a little bit slower. Should we just have a brainstorming on this country? Can we do more of power? Can we do actually gas? Can we do certificates? Can we do something else than what we are doing today?
Yeah. So you're constantly looking at new markets, new opportunities.
Yeah, and also existing markets, and can we do better there? And our existing models, can we actually improve them now that we have time? The markets are slow. Can we actually go through our codes? Can we actually apply AI on this or these kind of thinkings? Yeah.
Brilliant. And moving on to like your approach or MFT's approach to trading in general, like what would you say that is?
We have a pretty entrepreneurial approach to trading. So we need people who thinks like a business owner, who wants to, become a business owner, but doesn't want all the fuss about the, bookkeeping or having a bank establishment, etc. So that entrepreneurial thinking that requires, trying out your ideas in the world, and it's not for everyone, but if you are that type, then it's a playground, so you basically can come in and test out your ideas. In our entrepreneurial thinking, we always, I find it like, for example, I was in summer vacation, my kids, wants to play some ball, and we're in a restaurant environment or in some garden, and he really wants to play, and it's maybe not appropriate to play right where he is, and his mom thinks it's inappropriate. I just say, what's the worst thing that can happen? The waiter can come and tell that it's not okay that he plays ball. Please do something else, right? Or just don't play here. Just go out somewhere else. So I tell them it's okay. You just go ahead. The worst thing, what will happen is the waiter can come, right? Yeah. So it's the same I say to the traders. So, you want to try this product, you want to do this. What's the worst that can happen? We can lose this much money. Okay, we can tolerate that. So we're looking typically the options, the cases where the downside is limited and we know what it is, and the upside is scalable. It's without the limits, right? So the worst thing can happen is we lose something, but we learn from it, and then we're wiser the day after, or we actually start making money and we get richer with it, right? So that's actually our approach to trading.
Yeah. So your risk appetite, like you're allowing your employees to think like entrepreneurs, to make decisions. You're taking like as much like shackles off as you can, and giving them the confidence they can make decisions rather than being safe.
Yeah, definitely. That's how you actually evolve, right? If there were no risk takers in the world, then we would be still, in the Stone Age. So it's okay. It's okay that people who want to change things, they actually go out there and they test things.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything within the boundaries of law and all that, but it's more like we're expecting people to take responsibility to go out there and basically try to create something new.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, it's all about making money, but at the same time, you're not afraid to lose money a couple of days to try something new and learn from it.
Yeah.
To improve.
Yeah. Definitely.
Brilliant. I think that's very valuable there. A couple of other things I want to touch on, but carry on if you've got something.
No, it's just more like, obviously, this is how we encourage things, and then you find a small gold in a garden all of a sudden, right? Once you do that, you will fail many times, but if you find something very, very interesting, Then we start to say, okay, this is a great business case.
Yeah.
Then we start structuring, right? We put up mandates, we put up all the necessary structures that comes with having a trading setup requires. So that obviously once we are there, obviously structuring comes right after with scaling it up, having a strategy about that new product, etc.
And I guess it's very scalable. Once you've developed new desks, new markets, you can just repeat the cookie cutter model again and again when you find the gold.
Yeah, exactly. Then you start hiring new people, finding new ways of doing it, implementing it other places, bringing in other talents that actually know something about that product, etc.
Yeah, awesome. And lots of people who listen to this podcast are quite early on in their career. What advice would you give to someone who knows energy trading? That's what they want to do. But they're right at the beginning of the journey. How do they be successful?
Yeah, I mean, if you're fortunate enough to join this industry, energy trading, it's so important that you actually take responsibility. You don't expect someone to give you responsibility, but take that responsibility to do different things to actually fulfill the role that you're given by being so curious and then being so proactive to create more than what you are expected for. That's one thing that people can take nowadays. Back in the day, when I was a trader trainee, when Henrik came with the idea of, okay, here's a new market, it's called intraday. I don't think there's so much to it, but take a look at it. I could have just said, okay, it takes some hours off the working hours. I have to stay here after 3 p.m., 4 p.m. I have to do this at 9 p.m. I don't want to do that, or it's not my working hours. But I took it and say, okay, this is my opportunity. I can actually be the first person who looks at it in the company. And then, if there is something, there is actually an opportunity for me to shine with it. So take those opportunities, use your time. Don't worry about the fast results of your early work, but that long-term thinking and say, okay, being curious and then staying with your task is extremely important. Another thing that I should mention is definitely learn coding. If you want to be in the energy trading industry going forward, it's a prerequisite that you actually know Python or any other coding skills and interact as much as you can with AI, with ChatGPT or any other AI. And also the thing that we do with this thinking of what else approach, when you learn something new, try asking yourself, okay, what else can I do with this knowledge? What else, where else can I use this? If you fail, what have I done wrong? Can I do in a different way and then actually succeed with this information? Those are important skills to do as a habit from the beginning.
Okay, so just try and summarize that again. So you've got to be coding, you've got to know Python now. If you're thinking about going to university or you're at university, make sure you're focused on that. You obviously with AI, we'll get into that, but understand AI, develop new things with AI, but take responsibility, seize opportunity with both hands, go with long-term thinking. They're the key things you mentioned there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Those are the things I would say.
And work hard. It's not a 9 to 4. You're probably not going to go far if other than being low to average.
Yeah, I mean it's
be passionate.
I would say it's not an 80 hours work. It's not that. But in certain times of your career, especially in the beginning, there are some periods, there are some weeks where you would work harder than others, and that should be okay if you can see, on the long term, you are gaining a lot of knowledge, this is a very niche area of knowledge
Yeah.
you're working in. And if you actually understand them and the dynamics of energy trading, this information, this niche knowledge is very, very valuable.
Yeah. I think it's obviously people talk about work hard, but it's balance of work smart as well. Like if
Yeah.
you know you're working on a high impact project, then that you should be working hard on that, because the value that you get out of that is huge.
Exactly.
If you're on a low impact project, does it really require you to be working till 10 o'clock at night? Probably not. But if the opportunity is big enough, you should seize it with both hands. Like you said, back when you were starting with intraday, that you knew if you worked hard, that could be huge, and it was.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, you mentioned AI, you mentioned coding, leads me very nicely on to the next question, which is about like how the market has evolved, what it looks like going forwards, in your opinion, because you've been there from the start.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, data became the driver of the markets now compared to back then in 2005, 6, 7, 8. I mean, nowadays everything is vast, huge data that you have to get in, and the models, and then the traders are just minds actually coding, collecting data, interprets the algorithm, and then algorithms actually execute the trades for you. So the traders are getting out of the equation day by day. And back in when I started, it was huge egos, competitive people, just like the Wolf of Wall Street scenes. It was back then, right? People would be a lot more types who are bumping their chests for a win, and mock each other a little bit, and it was a lot more people dependent. Nowadays it's still people dependent, but it's more computer educated or data scientists or people who actually can talk with the computer, who program it, who can code the best algos so that it's faster than your competitors, who can collect the best data, interpret it faster than others, and then actually hit the trade. That's still people who codes that, but it's a different type of person. They are typically a lot more reserved. They like to have the headphones on. They're not as social. They're not as competitive. And when they want to socialize, it's more like a board game and maybe a cozy chat with each other about Star Wars. It's a little bit more niche and geeky. It is. That's a funny thing to be witness to. So nowadays it's very different to look for a new trader than back in 2010.
Is it easier or harder now to find like a great performer?
Maybe it's a difficult question because I also gained some experience with the years, and for me it's not that hard. And I have been to many interviews, have employed many traders within years. It doesn't take so long to spot a great talent with both feet on the ground and is willing to do whatever it takes. It's still the same interview questions. The only things that change is maybe it's not as attractive to have the competitive and finance education on your background, but it's more, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be a little bit more calm and analytical thinking.
Yeah. So you've obviously seen it go from discretionary to more quantitative. So like, how much of MFT's business is now like a quantitative person making decisions compared to like a discretionary person?
It's a lot more driven by people who actually work with computer. It's definitely, those days are over for individuals taking decisions with with their minds and looking at an Excel sheet. Those days are over, definitely.
Yeah. And obviously you mentioned about how someone who's got a data science background and strong mathematical background, but there's more and more people studying degrees now. But what separates just someone who's who's pretty good at computer science, pretty good at maths? I guess not everyone who's good at maths or science is going to be good in trading. So what separates the two? I guess there's other things you need as well as being strong mathematically and analytically.
Yeah, it's basically self judgment.
Yeah.
The self judgment of a situation is also, if you have a good experience in that, if you know where you stand, if you know where to stand in a discussion, in an argument, then you probably can make use of the same competence in trading. If you have a good judgment of different things happening, simultaneously, and you can actually control your reactions to it, then you can become a great trader. And that is what I typically try to ask, to create situations in an interview so that I can put that person in a situation that where he can respond to that kind of situation.
So aside from like a technical element, there's also situational questions that you will ask, and you will want to understand how they think and how they would approach that situation.
Yeah, exactly. We need people who can take decisions by themselves and also can interact without having a problem or without being reluctant to talk to others.
Okay, awesome. Great advice there. And just going into the last question, like you mentioned AI, obviously, and the way the market has gone more systematic, quantitative. So what are the trends for you, the key trends that you see, as we enter 2024, a bit of trend outlook? Like, it would be good to get your thoughts on that.
Sure. Definitely AI is raising the bar for trading companies. If we're going to talk a little bit about, the trading outlook, we had just as we mentioned in 2022, a huge bull run for gas prices, which also affected power and the rest of the energy industry. 2023 was a pullback. You can see it normalizes again to some reasonable levels. A demand crush, gas storage that is being full in Europe. I believe that trend is not quite finished. It's going to continue. That's how I see it from where we are. But also, we are living in a world where things are very, very hard to foresee. The wars are out there. The things that we thought that are unimaginable are now a serious risk. So while we expect a bearish or a normalized energy market in 2024, we're also cautious and looking for these risks that can materialize. And I think this also is being reflected on the markets. You see normalizations, and the smallest unexpected things can make a huge rebound for the market. I think that will continue to
the
go.
Volatility is here to stay in 24.
Exactly, definitely.
And you mentioned AI. So do you believe AI will fundamentally improve your business's performance in trading?
Yeah, definitely it will. It improves many things, and we're in the just beginning of AI, and it's being better and better every day. Definitely there is much more effectiveness coming to our markets.
And is it one of your key points to look at, focus on this year? As a business?
Yeah, it is. We encourage all our employees. We make some courses on that and try to engage people, try to gather everyone on AI and using it on our daily models. So.
Given how quantitative and how much expertise you have in machine learning within the business, I guess you're very well equipped to get huge gains from artificial intelligence as well, given the talent you've got in the business already.
Well, we're trying to be on the frontier end of this
Yeah.
development, right?
Yeah.
And our business is also very niche area, and everybody is trying to, protect their knowledge. So I don't know the rest of the market, but I think we're in the frontier end, and I would like to assume that we are one of the companies that is using it better than the rest.
Brilliant. Well, that wraps up the conversation, Cagdas. And look, I really thank you. Some really interesting things we discussed there. Great to get your thoughts, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Patrick.
Look forward to seeing what you guys are going to achieve in 2024.
Thanks. Thank you. It's been a pleasure for me as well. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.